Good evening, good afternoon, and good morning to all the superstars worldwide. My name is Frank Salas. I go by the name The Talented Mr. Salas. Today we have a fantastic guest. This is Dave Shrine, and he specializes in helping people get unstuck in their business. I found Dave through social media, and I was just like chilling on a Saturday or a Friday. It was a weekend night, and I was just going on Twitter, minding my own business, and I saw a tweet that says, "Hey, this is just a regular check-in. Does anybody need anything? Like, can I be of help with you on something?" I'm just reaching out. And I thought that was so cool because no one's doing that. No one's just reaching out and saying, "Hey, who needs help? How can I serve?" And so I immediately, at that moment, I retweeted it, I liked it, and I replied to him and I said, "Hey, I'm doing a podcast. I'd love to have you on." And we just connected. We had a brief 15-minute chat. And I was like, yo, let's definitely have you serve up. So without further ado, David, introduce yourself to the fine folk in the Talent Tribe.
Thanks, Frank. Man, I'm excited. I love doing stuff like this. So many of us have so many different, passions and unique gifting, things that are just inside of us. And to be able to come alongside and help folks get unstuck and help them realize whatever it is, that uniqueness, that talent that they have, and get it out in front of other people. That's just the thing that gets me fired up. So basically my story, very quickly, I'm an accidental entrepreneur, but I was destined for it all along the way. I spent about a decade working in the nonprofit world, about 5 years doing music, and then 5 years stumbling into online marketing, media, and communications. I fell in love with it. A lot of times you think that the things that you're good at, which I was good at music, you think that's the thing that you have a passion for. But then you come to find out that just because you're good at something, or just because you're gifted at something, or you can do it well, doesn't necessarily mean that that's your passion. It means that you can do it well. Well, when I started doing online communication and, really getting serious about the words that I was using, and understanding that nobody gives a care about me, my organization, whoever I'm representing, and really having to dig deep and say, okay, if I have something that I need to get out in front of other people to change their lives, I know I have something that will change their life. I've got to work super hard to make sure that I capture their attention, that they understand that, like, look, this is all about you. It's not about me. In that process, so many of us get stuck, man. We get stuck in the margins on how many pixels should I push this picture over, marketing online in particular, or what service should I use for my website, or how long should my blog post be, or what time should I start tweeting, or how many posts should I do on Facebook, and what's the perfect amount of words that I should use? Should I use a picture that's square or 16 by 9? And all these marginal things that we just get stuck on and we don't move forward. And that's really where I've come to find my unique place, is helping people understand, what's major and what's marginal. Now, all the marginal things together, those can make a major difference, but not one of them is worth slowing down and getting stuck to where you just come to a screeching halt in your vision and your journey and your business. And that's really where I like to come alongside and say, don't let that slow you down, man. Get over that, keep moving forward. And anything with web, email, and social is really where my forte lies.
That's amazing. I want to talk about the mindset behind that, because I'm huge into mindset, and most of the people in the Talent Tribe are emerging entrepreneurs, or they're intermediate entrepreneurs who have actually achieved a lot of success offline, and they're getting paid speaking gigs. They're a pro in their sector, and everybody in their regional area knows who they are, but they're looking to get into the global game, playing field. And they're always stuck on those little things, like, I don't have the perfect website, I don't have this. My personal experience with social media is that when I first started in October of 2015, I didn't have a website, I didn't have a proper email address, and I was sending people from Periscope to my Instagram and having them send me a direct message with their email. I had no list, I had no opt-in, and I made 5 figures that month because I was leveraging my social media. So I just kind of fell into this whole thing, and I was just like, all right, I'm just going to make it happen. I'm not going to worry about those little things. And there's a certain mindset that you have to have when you enter a new marketplace just like this. So if somebody is like, I've got this idea, I've got this business, I've got this vessel where I can enter a marketplace, generate revenue, and expand my business, but I just kind of don't know where to start, what would you advise them?
Well, first and foremost, you got to get clear on what your offer is. People aren't stupid. They're just busy. People aren't dumb. There's just a lot of messaging out there. And if you're not clear on what it is you're actually offering people and calling them to, it's going to be impossible for you to break through the noise. You have to know what it is your offer is. What are you selling? A lot of times we'll say, well, I sell customized website solutions. Well, that's great. But the problem is when it's customized, it becomes really hard to clarify exactly what it is you're trying to do. If you say, well, I do inspirational speaking for organizations of, all sizes. Well, that's great. But what is the ultimate offer? What is the ultimate thing that you want people to hire you for? That my friend Mark McDonald would say, what do you want to be known for? And if you can get clarity on that, then it pretty much becomes easy talking about those things on social media. We get stuck. The reason why we get stuck is because we're doing something new, and we have this unreal expectation on ourselves that just because I was a success in this area over here, I should be a success in this area over here. Well, no, not necessarily. I mean, you see it all the time. You see actors who try to become singers and everyone just laughs at them because they think that there's some sort of a shortcut that they can take. I mean, you look at Gwyneth Paltrow, amazing actress, amazing model, amazing blogger. She tried to do the singing thing and people didn't take her seriously because she thought that, oh, because I'm successful over here means that I should be successful over here. So the reality is you're going to get stuck, and it's okay to get stuck. You're going to feel frustrated, and it's okay to feel frustrated, and you're going to feel like nobody cares, and it's okay to feel like nobody cares. Why? Because you're doing this for the first time. You have to have reasonable expectations for yourself. I'm not saying lower your expectations. I'm saying you have to have reasonable expectations. You really need to focus in, again, on what that offer is and say, okay, how can I get my website to reinforce that offer? That one thing that I want to be known for, that one thing that I really want people to hire me for, or to talk to me about, or to be contacted, regarding. What's that one thing? Okay, how do I get my website to push people that direction? How do I use social media to make sure people know that that's what I'm all about? How do I use email to keep in touch with them? I have a saying is, don't let your audience forget about you. We'll go through these wild swings of really being present online or present on social, emailing, things like that. And then we'll just have silence. Well, if you start on social media, you want to make sure that you show up regularly, because if you don't, your audience is going to forget about you, and they don't need you right now. They need you when they need you. So you have to be consistent, continue to show up for that day, 1 week, 1 month, 6 months, 8 months down the road, when they're finally saying, you know what, Frank, I'm ready. I'm ready to take you up on everything that you were saying. And if you're not there, they're going to go find somebody else. So really where I would start is getting clarity on what it is you're asking people to do, what it is you're calling them to, and then surround everything to support that one thing. You can't do two. You can only do one. You can have different variations of that one, but you can really only ask people to do one thing at a time. That's why commercials don't tout 15 different products in one time. They tout one product: iPhone commercial, iPad commercial, computer commercial. So that's where I would start, is get clarity on that, and then have everything aligned, support that, and you can expand out from that.
Man, so I have a saying. So lots of people like to drop golden nuggets. You just dropped some diamonds, baby. Those are diamonds right there. And we love diamonds in the Talent Tribe. You're getting a lot of love on Periscope. You're getting a lot of love here on Blab right now. And I'm sure everybody on all the other platforms are going to be loving that. I always promise diamonds, and I go out and find these guys. And man, you're just dropping some stuff, dude. That's number one. This is much needed in this marketplace. I can't tell you how many times that I meet people and they're like, Frank, I want to do this, and I want sponsors, and I want to be a thought leader, and I want to get paid public speaking gigs. But they're just like, there's just that but I can't. And there's whatever that is. It's sometimes some people it's their kids, some people it's their finances, some people it's whatever they're telling themselves in their head. It's just something. And you're just like, just do it anyways. Just take the action. And even though that sounds like, very simple and basic, it's really not. Some people really have to talk it out and say, look, okay, I really got to get this website. Okay, it's got to be the perfect website. And they have to work that out, because if it's not the perfect website, it's going to be the perfect sales page, the perfect email, the whatever. I can't tell you how many times I've done things that have messed up. I've sent out the wrong links. I've sent out everything and it crashes. I've had webinars crash with like hundreds of people on it that were ready to buy from us. I mean, everything that could go wrong, I've had go wrong.
I have one of my
So
students who contacted me today. Just she was like, "Can I complain a little bit?" I was like, "Sure." It was on Facebook Messenger. That's where I do all my communication with all my students is Facebook Messenger. I love Facebook Messenger. Anyways, she was just started pouring out her heart and all the things that she felt like she was a failure on, all the things that she felt like she had just missed the target on, just really feeling down on herself. I said, "Look, here's the deal. You have to understand that if you want to get people to listen to you, who are going to, take your advice on all the things that you're trying to do right now, you're figuring it out for them. When you have a failure like the one that you're having right now, you're the one figuring out how to manage these things. You're the one figuring out how to overcome them. They're going to look to you for those solutions. So it's not a failure. It's just a learning experience. And you're just going to translate that and put it into your book and help people overcome it a lot more quickly than you did."
that's awesome, man. So I want to switch gears a little bit and talk about making money, because everyone talks about monetizing social media, and you've actually monetized your business to 6 figures in 20 months, which is a feat in itself. Tell us about that journey.
Well, everyone has unique giftings and talents. I already said that. When I decided to launch my business, I leaned into those things. And fortunately, I had a great network. You really want to be cool to people, no matter where you are right now, what it is you're doing, and what it is you think you're going to be doing in the future. You got to be cool to people and treat them right, because they will come back and they will scratch your back. When I lost my job, I was shocked at the people who I thought were going to have my back didn't, not to any fault of their own. They're just busy with their own stuff. And the people who came out of the woodworks to support me were people who I never even thought would have. So you got to have good relationships if you decide to quit or leave whatever it is you're doing to go full time with your own thing. That said, when it comes to making money online, like, people are not lining up to give you money. They're not. What's going to happen is they're going to find you somewhere. And they're going to do some digging. They're going to check you out on every social media platform that they can. They're going to look at your website. They're going to get on your email list. They're going to do everything to try and figure out if you're legit. They're going to look at every single thing you've ever produced. They're going to scroll through all of your tweets. They're going to look for consistency. They're going to look for clarity. They're going to look for value. They're going to look for personality. They want to know that you're the real deal. And if you can deliver that, then you've got their ear and attention. And the reason why I say that it's so important for you to have clarity on what it is you're trying to sell is because once you've got their attention, you have the opportunity to sell them one thing. Now, if they don't buy that one thing, you can come around again and try to sell them something different. But when it comes to making money online, ultimately, it's all about trying to close the sale. Now, a lot of times we don't like that. We're like, well, I don't want to be that pushy, slimy salesperson. Look, here's the deal. If you've got something that's going to change somebody's life, if you have something that's going to help them accomplish the dreams that they've been sitting on for the last 10 years, and you're not out there trying to get it in front of as many people as possible, then you have a crappy product. You've got an awful product. You need to be able to sell confidently, knowing that what you have to offer is truly going to revolutionize the way somebody is living right now. And it's all about closing the sale. My coach, I went and I paid a coach 10 grand last year to look at everything that I was doing and basically kick my tail and say what I needed to improve on. He says, look, never stop selling. Never stop selling. You're always selling. Always be closing, right? Like ABCs of sales. Always be closing. The deal is, if you stop talking about, if you don't have clarity, it's going to be hard to talk. And when you do get clarity, if you stop talking about what it is you're trying to sell, no one's going to just line up and say, hey, how can I give you money today? You've always got to be trying to get in front of new people with new ideas and hone your sales pitch. Maybe one day you'll be able to hire someone to be your salesperson. But until then, if you want to make money online, you've got to become a salesperson. And my coach said, you've got to become a ruthless salesperson, Dave. And I didn't like that because I associate ruthless with a particular avatar. But the truth is I had to become a ruthless salesperson that I was comfortable with, my version of a ruthless salesperson. And one of the things you said when we got done talking at the beginning of when we got done talking at our first conversation, you said, you're straight and to the point. Well, that's what it looks like for me to be a ruthless salesperson, is straight to the point and tell people, look, here's the deal. If you want new results, you're unhappy with where you're at, you got to put in new ideas. If you like the way I talk, if you like the way that I think, I guarantee you that I will deliver on everything that it is I'm telling you to do. I will come alongside you. I will coach you through it, and you will see results. But the truth is, are you willing to bet on yourself? Because I'm willing to bet on you. You got to figure out what that voice is, and you don't stop. Even when you feel like you've got a good rhythm, something that really something that really works well, you can't stop and just rest on your laurels. You've got to constantly be honing in on that and discovering what it looks like for you to develop that sales pitch. Does that make sense?
That makes total sense. And staying along those lines, what are your favorite ways to monetize social media?
Well, I don't know, man. I mean, I don't know that I ever look at monetizing social media. I think social media is always the conversation starter for me. I mean, people can articulate it however they want. For me personally, I always look at it as a conversation starter. And I'm truly looking for people who I can help. If there's somebody that I find on Twitter, now I've been doing this for long enough to identify who I'm going to be able to help, who's going to be interested in me, who's going to take notice of me, and who couldn't give, a rip about me. So I know kind of who my avatar is and who I'm looking for. And the reason why I'm looking for those specific people is because I know that those are the people whose lives I can transform. And it just opens up with a simple tweet. Hey, what are you working on right now? And that's a really authentic question that I have. Like, I want to know what they're working on, because like you saw that tweet where it said, hey, just a random check-in, wanted to see how everyone's doing. I do that with my list. Like, people who sign up for my communicators list, once a month, once every couple months, I'll just say, hey, I've got a little bit of extra time this week. Shoot me an email back with what you're stuck on. And if we have to hop on a phone call to fix it, we will. That's just what I do. And eventually it gets to the point where people need more help than what I can do in 15 minutes. And that's where I begin to monetize. That's where I have a clear offer that I go to them and say, hey, look, I have this course called the Platform Launch Course. And basically, this is what you need. Now, you can keep going this direction and do these things that we talked about, but ultimately, you need to get into this course. And I want you in this course. And here's what it looks like. And that's really how I monetize it. I move it from using social media as the conversation starter to getting people on the phone to closing the deal. If I can get you on the phone, I can close the deal 50% of the time, 60% of the time, as long as you are a right fit for it. And if you're not a right fit for it, people have to know. They have to trust you, because they have to know that if they're not a right fit, you're going to tell them they're not a right fit and either sell them something different or say, when I do have something that is a right fit, I'll make sure to tell you about it. So I don't look at social media as a place of I'm going to monetize this. I look at it as a place I'm going to start conversations here. And then I'm going to move those conversations to other forums, other platforms. I love what Brian Fanzo says. He says, look, if you're just trying to develop followers, then you've got segmented social media platforms. What you really want to do is you want to develop a community. And I think that's what I'm going after, is developing a community of raving fans who are ready to hire me the second that they get to that point. They're well aware of who I am, what I do, and how I can help. And that's really what I try to build on.
That's amazing. And I'm all about that. And I talk all about that with the Talent Tribe. I'm all about building tribes, building that community, that engagement, and everything that Dave just said is right on par with that. When you go out and you serve, he's doing an immense level of serving. He sends out an email and says, hey, I've got some free time. He doesn't charge anybody for his time. He gives them 15 minutes. He answers questions. He's got thousands of people on his list, hundreds of people that he's personally helped. And he just says, hey, who needs me? How can I serve? How can I make this life better? Emily Hooks at Pathbreak says, I talk about it in senses or nonstop. I talk about it nonstop. Yeah. So I couldn't say it. I couldn't say incessantly. There you go. I got it. Yeah, man. So I want to talk to you about an article that you wrote on your blog. I was creeping on you, and I was looking at your stuff, and you wrote a really interesting article that I'd like for you to maybe share some thoughts and some nuggets on, some diamonds, hopefully. You talked about charging what you are worth. Can you talk to people about charging what you're worth?
Everybody undercharges what they're worth. Most of us find our worth. I mean, we're getting into this topic, gets into some really big things when you drill down on it. On the surface, most of us look at our worth as what we're able to do and not what we know. All of the Talent Tribe needs to understand that your worth is found in what let me step that back. On a level, you have greater value in what you know than what you do. You will make more money by leveraging what you know than what you actually do. And the sooner you recognize that, the sooner you'll be able to monetize in life-changing ways. But ultimately, what happens is we start pricing our products and pricing our services so desperate to try to land a sale, we never really consider if, we're going to be able to grow on this, if we're going to be able to scale this. We're so desperate and so anxious to close a deal that when it comes time for them to say, now, what is this going to cost? You know, in your head, you want to say 1,000, but you're afraid that if you say 1,000, you're going to somehow lose the gig. So you say, well, I'll do this for 400, and you just cut your price by 60%. And the thing is what you do when you do that, one, you limit your ability to do it in the future. Two, you put a lower qualification on yourself and a lower level of respect that people are going to have. I'm not saying they're not going to respect you, but they're going to respect you a whole lot more and expect a whole lot more at $1,000 than they would at 400. We're so conscious of, are we charging too much, that we wind up charging way too little. And that too little means that we're not going to be able to invest in ourselves. That too little means that we're not going to be able to actually get ahead in our business. That too little means that we're going to wind up getting crap clients. Because I'll tell you what, from working with clients who I've made $40,000, $50,000 a year on versus $400, $500 a year on, the ones at higher levels, they expect more results and they stay out of your business. The ones at the lower levels, they expect the same results and they're all up in your business. Charging what you are worth is the secret to actually growing your business. And you're worth a lot more than what your rates actually say you're worth. Now, if you're really concerned about landing the gig, if you really want to land the gig, what you ought to do, and Mike Kim says this, Mike Kim, great podcast called the Brand You Podcast. He says what you want to do is you actually want to bill 100%. So you want to bill for that $1,000. But let's say it's a new client, and this could be a really big opening to a whole lot more work. And the project that you're working on, you really could pump it out pretty quickly. Well, then charge $1,000 on the invoice and discount down to maybe that $400 mark or a $700 mark so that they see what it is you're worth and they associate what you're providing with that higher number, but they are more convinced because they see a lower number and they say, well, we can swing that right now. And that's what I'll do a lot of times. I'll say, look, I want to get in the door. I want to work with your company. What I'm going to do is I'm going to provide this service at a killer rate, a rate that you're not going to be able to say no to. And when we produce results, I'm going to raise your rate, but you're going to want to keep working with me because the results are going to be there. And the cost of working with me at my normal rate is going to be a fraction of what it is that you're going to actually be making. So there's a lot of different ways to secure that client without discounting your service. But ultimately, it comes back to understanding that your worth, that your value is way more than what it is you're actually charging people right now. And you just got to be bold. You just got to be willing to lose the clients that are cheapskates. You got to be willing to lose the clients that have unreasonable expectations on you, your abilities, and your time. And when you do that, you'll finally get to a place where you can grow your business. You got to be able to deliver, though. If you can't deliver, then get into something else.
Man, those are some definite diamonds, man. Definite diamonds. That's how you drop them, guys. That's how you drop them. You wrote another blog post that I thought was super, super interesting about how to turn free work into paid work. And I do this all the time. When I have a webinar that I do. It's free to check it out. And I don't say free. I say complimentary or complimentary. It's actually how you say it. I've gotten slapped on the wrist on my pronunciation of that one. So it's complimentary and people show up. And if you show up live, you get to check it out. But if you don't check it out or check out the replay, it now goes in my vault. And it's a membership site where you've got to pay a monthly fee or a one-time ticket to watch this or to pick up these diamonds. So talk to us about turning your free work into paid work and how to leverage the things that you're already doing.
So you really want to be strategic about where and when you do free work. Going along the same principle that I just shared, if there's a client that you really, really, really want to work with, it might be a good idea to actually charge nothing, right? Do your invoice, put it at the top market, but then say, look, I want to do this for you right now because at the very end of this, I want an endorsement for you or from you. I want a testimonial. I want you to advocate for what it is like working with me. One of my buddies actually went on Facebook, and he said, look, I'm looking for 3 realtors who are willing to help me with providing them their business for Facebook ads. I will pay for all of the Facebook ads on my own account. What I want from you is a testimonial that my system works. And so a lot of times it really makes sense to do free work. What you also want to do is you want to establish measures when you do that free work. You want people to see what it is your work actually accomplished. So if you're just doing free work in the hopes of more work, that's not really a good strategy. What's a good strategy is doing free work and attaching it to metrics and then saying, look, if you want more of this, you need to pay up. So Facebook ads is a great example of that. You could say, look, Frank, I'm going to do 3 weeks of Facebook ads for you. I'll even pay for the ads. Or you can say, give me $500 budget. And at the end, I'll do it all for free. And at the end of it, I'll show you how much money, how many leads you generated and how much money was made. And then you say, okay, look, Frank, at the end of this, $500 brought in $2,000. Now you give me $500, you pay a rate of $500, and I'll generate you a return of $1,000 every 3 weeks. If you can attach it to a metric that's important to that person, then it'll be a whole lot easier for them to see the value in what you're providing and actually say, okay, well, yeah, we'd love to hire you on to do that. So there's a lot of different nuances that you really want to be aware of when you're doing anything for free. It really needs to be all about getting to the next thing rather than just what this thing here and now is. And again, I got to come back to it. That's why you've got to be clear on your offer. You have to know how it's ultimately going to get you to selling that primary offer, that signature offer that it is that you have. What do you think? Should I expand on that a little bit more?
Man, that was great. That was great. No, I think after that, people are gonna have to send you a PayPal invoice for some consulting, man. Jeez, you're dropping them. You're dropping some diamonds out here. I constantly get people asking to make residual income, passive income. They're like, I want to make money on social media. It's the new Amway. It's the new MLM. It's the new whatever. Everybody wants to be in it. No one wants to put the work in, but it's really not that time intensive after you get your initial stuff of content out there, because you can do lots of things to turn your stuff evergreen. You can repurpose a lot of your content on multiple platforms, but a lot of people are very lacking in digital assets, things like e-courses, e-books. We had a question on Periscope asking if your platform course, was that an ebook? Was it a video course? Was it an audio course? How's the format for that?
My platform course, so the Entrepreneur's Online Platform Launch course, that's something that I basically have done for clients for the last, 3-4 years. I sat down and I said, okay, if I was actually going to teach someone to do it, what steps would I go through? And I quantified every single step that it would take to getting your vision straight, developing a website ready to receive visitors, using email to build a relationship, leveraging social to attract the right eyeballs. And then the last section is, what tools do you need to actually make it all happen? Because one of the places that you'll waste a lot of time and a lot of money, quite frankly, is going out there buying all these tools. I see it so often. There'll be an amazing webinar with a great deal at the end, and someone will buy the tool, and this unspoken mentality in the back of their mind is, if I pay for this, then it's going to happen. Well, it works if you work. Like, that's the way the internet works. The internet is going to work for you if you are willing to work. And when it comes to products, everybody talks about, well, I don't have a product. Well, yeah, you do. I mean, at the very core, you have your time and you're gifted at something. You know something like the back of your hand. You just have to, one, be willing to see how you can leverage that. Like, you really need a coach is what you need. If you're serious about this, you really need someone to help you see the forest, because you can't see it for the trees. But when it comes down to creating a product, it's just taking something that you know how to do, itemizing it, recording it, and then sending it out. That's a training product. I'd take a website product. It comes down to, if I'm going to do a website for someone, I've gotten it down to the point where I'm pretty sure I can start doing websites for $1,500 that would cost $4,500 elsewhere. Why? Because I've created a repeatable process that I never have to reinvent. So Frank, at the end of this, you're like, Dave, fantastic. I need a new website. I'll say, okay, sign up right here. And the second you hit submit, you go into a funnel. And that funnel, even though most people use funnel like marketing, that funnel is really my website building funnel. And it sends you every single question that I ask people every single time that we're going to build a website. And the second that you click submit on that form, it triggers tasks in our task management program. It triggers new emails that are going to be sent out. And there's so many different ways of developing a product that if you can just sit down and have some, maybe you need to spend 15 minutes talking with me. Maybe people need to spend 15 minutes talking with you, but you are literally sitting on a product right now and you just don't see it because you're not wired to think this way. I'm wired to think this way. Frank is wired to think this way. You need people speaking into your life who are wired to think this way. And the second that you do, you'll be off to the races.
Dave, I just got off a mastermind with a woman who has a private Facebook group, and she has about maybe 20,000 people in it. And from those 20,000, about 4,500 people are paying her $9.95 per month to have custom content, stuff that we probably do as we grow our audience. And she just does that, but she does a little extra just for them. And she's making about 45 grand extra per month just by serving those people. And it's little things. It's like an interview. It could be something like this. Like, this literally is a great interview. I'm like, man, I don't know if I should put this on my podcast. Should we put this in the vault? Should this go there? Because these things, these conversations are what I like to call selfish conversations. A lot of people on the internet who are connecting with other influencers have selfish conversations where if both of us were to keep this to ourselves and not share this information with the world literally wouldn't be a better place, because maybe down the line, somebody who's listening to this might be a thought leader who starts a charity, who does this and does this good to the world, or mentors these kinds of people. You never know what you're going to do. And we're just like creating the start of the ripple effect. We're the spark. Everybody else is the flame. Everybody else is the aftermath, but we're just the spark. So that's why I love doing podcasts. And I love using all the social media tools available to us, where we can record one place, repurpose it, and putting on different channels. Because you'll see this live on Blab, but you'll see it on my YouTube channel, and it'll be nonstop distributed. I also wanted to talk about your automation, your systems, your processes. That's wonderful. You have a $1,500 product that you can work with people. They go through an actual like you said, it's a sales process. It's like a do-it-yourself website. They tell you what you want, where to put in there. There's no back and forth. You eliminate the friction points between your business, your client, and your money. Yeah. You just eliminated that. So I have an outsourcing company in the Philippines, and that's where I do a lot of my automation, and my virtual assistants are automated, so they're even more effective. Can you speak on the importance of processes, outsourcing, automation? Just shed some light and your perspective in that world.
The easiest way to cripple your business is to do everything custom. You think custom is what people want. The problem is you're not charging custom prices. You're charging commoditized prices for custom work, and you just can't grow that way. What you need to do is you need to realize that there are people who desperately want to be told exactly what to do and be funneled through building whatever it is you're going to build for them, or teaching them whatever it is you're going to teach them. They want to be guided and directed, and they want you to tell them at the very end, this is what it needs to look like. And so if you approach your business saying, well, the way that it starts is by a conversation. Okay, that's great. You could do a conversation like that, but what happens after the conversations? It is a series of 15 emails back and forth, because that's not going to get you anywhere, and it's going to get you nowhere fast. What you really want to do is you want to know at the end of that conversation, and we'll use my website product as an example, at the end of this conversation, am I going to be able to provide for this person what they want at the cost that we're agreeing to do it? And if the answer is yes, then it's like, fantastic, Frank, go here, fill out this form with your name, with your email, and with your website, and it'll get started. And immediately that sends a series of emails asking you for, I need you to fill out this form on what you want on your website. I need you to fill out this form sharing with me the credentials to get into your current website. I need you to fill out this form. And it's all just sent. The reason I can do that is because my process doesn't change. The only thing that changes is the clients that I put through the process. And it's really hard to think this way. As a matter of fact, this is something that I do so well that I put training together specifically to help people think this way, to help people begin thinking, okay, it's not about me doing. It's about me thinking of how I can push things along automatically, how I can use the right tools for the right moment at the right time. And we're not saying that we're going to replace relationship. You can never replace relationship, and anyone who tries is a freaking idiot. What you do is you try to automate as many tasks as possible. You try to create repeatable processes so that when someone buys X from you, you do the following 5 things and deliver, so that you can make more time for a relationship, so that you, instead of spending 30 minutes on the phone talking with someone about details about their site, you spend 30 minutes on the phone getting to know who they are as a person and establishing a relationship. So, I mean, man, there's a lot that can be said about automation, systems, processes. It's really not sexy, but when you're on the back end of establishing them, it's absolutely magical. And anybody that has never, ever entertained the idea of creating a product based upon a strict system or process, just come my way, go talk to Frank. You need to, if you're serious. If you're not serious, just keep doing everything manual. You'll be forever frustrated. But if you're serious, you need to have somebody who understands this stuff. Open your eyes, because that's the only way you're going to grow your business, unless you have an endless budget. If you got an endless budget with endless people, then go do it the hard way, and that's fine. You just won't make as much money.
Man, you hit the nail on the head right away. And that's the truth. If you're not going to work with Dave, if you're not going to work with me, you got to work with somebody. You got to make that change in your life, because we're doing this podcast for free. We're not charging anybody for this. We're giving out value because we just want to inspire you. We just want to make sure that you fire yourself. One of my favorite things to tell people is fire yourself. Fire yourself as a bottleneck for your business. Yep. You can't be the barrier between cash and your business. You can't do that. You've got to remove yourself, and you should give enough value already. And most of us already do give enough value to the marketplace that we just need an easy place for people to go in there and hit purchase. You were talking about removing yourself. And this is like, you are hitting on, and you know this, but you are hitting on such a magnificent topic. We think that we want to multiply ourselves. We think that, man, if I could just get another version of myself, then I'd be able to get ahead in my business, or then I'd be able to get more things done. And that's really not what we want, Frank. What we want is the outcomes that we're capable of to happen without us being present. That's what we're really going after. And so this idea of repeatable process, all it is, I mean, just think of a step-by-step tutorial that you all of a sudden decide, okay, I'm not going to post to my WordPress website anymore. I'm going to hire one of Frank's VAs, and they're going to do it. And I just want to give them this Google slide presentation. It'll walk them through step by step. They'll do the exact same outcome that I'm capable of at a price much cheaper than it would cost me to do it. That's essentially what we're talking about. That's the truth. So I had somebody ask me if I could do a presentation for their virtual summit, and I put it off to last minute to really look into it. At 9 o'clock, she's like, "Hey, is your presentation ready?" I was like, "Oh, okay, cool, whatever." So at about 10:30, the presentation's due at noon. I was like, you know what? I'm going to call up my VA and I'm going to time them. And we just did a quick 14 slide presentation, and we did a quick social media audit. We talked about growth hacking, and I did the whole presentation. And then afterwards I was like, hey, I got a huge confession. My virtual assistant and I did this in 80 minutes right before this. And she was like, oh my God, this was so professional. And you'd be surprised with the amount of work you can get done when you're dictating certain things and you have that working relationship with somebody, whether they're a virtual assistant in the Philippines, whether somebody who's a virtual team in the United States or anywhere else in the world. As long as you're working with somebody and you guys are having a great vibe, you guys are just syncing and you guys are a strong team, your results multiply and you guys are speaking the same language. There's nothing like being on a team. A solopreneur is, it's fun to say, oh, I'm a solopreneur, and there's like a sense of pride and proudness of being the one person that does it. But if you were to humble yourself and say, look, I'm not the best person to be doing websites for my company. I'm not the best person to be doing graphics for my company. Maybe I should get some help and remove that and then focus on the things that I am good at so I can generate more revenue and go down that path. So yeah, you're hitting the nail on the head when it comes to that. I'd like to wrap up and maybe take some questions with people from the audience. Do you guys have any questions about any of the stuff that we talked about? We talked about digital products. We talked about monetizing social media, starting conversations, connecting, relationships, talked a little bit about the agency work and how to create processes and systems in place. There's just so many diamonds sprinkled out throughout this conversation. It was great.
Annette agrees with you. Sunshine Lady agrees with you, man. I agree, Frank.
Man, you killed it, dude. You killed it. So I saw on your website that you built this whole business, a 6-figure business on email marketing, your website, and social media. So, I mean, that's all new media, no traditional media whatsoever. And that's 100% your strategy is new media.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, man. I know where my skill is. I know where my sweet spot is. We want to be all things to all people, but if you try to be all things to all people, you're going to be good at nothing. Like you just won't. And so the second that I say, oh yeah, I'll do print, or I'll do video, or I'll do radio, it's like I immediately step out of my sweet spot and everything comes to a screeching halt. It's fun to say yes when the money's right there in front of you. But if you say yes and it brings everything else to a screeching halt, like that's not good for anybody. So I say I was meeting with a couple who wants to launch a book. I said, look, I can help you launch your book online. I don't do any old media, only web, email, and social. So if you're comfortable with that, we can launch it and we'll get you more traction than you've had in the last couple of years. But if you really want that old media, you need to find somebody else who's really, really good at that. And hopefully they'll become a client. I tried to sell them right then and there. They weren't quite ready to pull the trigger, but I'll sweeten the deal for them, try to get them to say A-okay.
For sure, for sure. And I love how you serve people. I love how you just reach out to them. And you said it even just right now, it's all about the follow-up. It's all about showing up and saying, look, I'm not here just for the cash. I'm here to serve you. I had a conversation with a guy yesterday on a Sunday at 10:30 at night. We did business 3 months ago and he just hit a plateau. He was like, Frank, I only have 500 people in my private Facebook group. Frank, my last webinar was only 4 figures. I was like, bro, 3 months ago, you didn't have any of this. You don't have any of this at all. Like, you're doing fine. And he was like, what's the next step? What's the next step? And we talked about digital assets. We talked about DAs. We talked about getting himself as a celebrity in this space, getting media coverage, dropping books. Those are the types of moves that you should be making as a thought leader. So looks like we don't have any questions. Everyone just says there's great nuggets in here. There's probably just blown away like, oh my God, I need to get unstuck right now from the unstuck master himself, Dave Shrine. What are some boss thought leader moves that people can make right now today to take action and become a thought leader?
To take action and become a thought leader, well, you got to get good at your thing. And in order to get good at your thing, whatever that is, you need to be as removed from the details and the maintenance as possible. And so I'm going to tout my own thing. I put together something that's basically allowed me more time and more energy to put towards building out my business rather than maintaining and carrying my business. And that's getmoredonenow.com. It's basically a free video series, Frank, that goes through how I use systems and processes in my business to help take me as a solopreneur from July 2014 all the way through December 2015, getting things done as I grew that income up. In December of 2014, I'd replaced my monthly income. By that same time next year, we brought in $135,000 in revenue, all as a solopreneur. Now, I had an accountant. I had a couple people doing a couple things for me a month, but all of the big heavy lifting was done by me, putting into systems and automation. So if you've got some solopreneurs out there who want more time to become thought leaders, you got solopreneurs out there who want more time to actually go out and make sales, go out and do invoicing, you really need to look at systems, automations, processes, and things happening magically in the background. And that's the free video series that I put together at getmoredonenow.com. And it's really good stuff. I mean, it's my best stuff, and it's absolutely free, no strings attached. So.
Boom. And we have that linked up here live in the chat. We also are going to link it up in all the show notes. Dave, thank you so much for helping me serve the Talent Tribe. This was phenomenal, man. You are impressive in so many ways. I love your vibe. I love your energy. This man genuinely comes from a place of servants. And I just love to see people like this out in the industry. It's just a pleasure to have you on the show, man. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Frank. Appreciate that, man.